So the Rebbe is a beautiful mime of the Rebbe on the aspect of the first pasuk of the Torah. Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim v'sa'aretz, that the Eibishter created the heavens and the earth, and the Rashi bring down a medrash that the medrash says that the question the medrash asks is the Torah should have started with Achodesh Hazel Lachem Reish Chodashim, and because that's the first mitzvah that the Jews received in the desert. That's the first mitzvah of the Torah that the Jewish people received as a nation, even before the giving of the Torah. Why would the Torah start off with Bereshis bara Elokim? And the Rebbe and the Medrash answers Koyach Maisa of Higil La'amei, that the reason why it starts Bereshis is because Koyach Maisa is because that God wanted to show the power of His actions. Koyach, the power, the strength of His Maisa, of His actions. Higil La'amei, to tell His own nation, Losses Lehem Nachlas Goyim. We're holding on page 7 on the bottom, and we believe that. We can believe that. So Higid La'ameh, to tell his nation that he has Losa not to give him the Nachla, the inheritance of nations. That means that the Rebbe says you must say that this concept of Bereshis bara Elokim, this aspect, that the Eibishter, the God, the Torah starts off with Achodesh Hazel Lachem Reish Chodashim. This concept is even greater than the Achodesh Hazel Lachem Reish Chodashim. We explain in Chassidus, in Kabbalah, that Achodesh Hazel Lachem Reish Chodashim, Chodesh goes on Alma in the world of Mamala Kalam, and the way God comes within the world. Hazeh goes with the way God is above the world. Soiviv Kalamim, Oid Ein Soif. So you have two Oides. Oid HaMamala, the light that fills the world. And you have the light that's above the world, Oid Ein Sof, which we call Oid Ein Sof, the infinite light. But it's still Oid, it's still a light. It's still a concept of a light. You call it Oid Ein Sof, the light that is infinite. But it's still a Oid, it's still a definition. We are looking for something that's higher. We're looking for Atzmus. We're looking for the essence of HaKadosh Baruch. As I said last time, in the Bracha Baruch, Ata Hashem Alekei, Ata, you. We're looking for something that's higher than Oidus, than even the concept of Oid, which is a light. We're looking for something higher. And that the Rebbe says is the meaning of the Medrash. That the Eibishter starts off Bereshis to tell a Yid, the Kavana, the whole purpose of the creation of the world, the whole purpose of why there's a world, is that Losses Lem Nachlas Goyim, that a Jew would transform the nations of the world and make them a holy place. There's a famous medrash, which the medrash says, "Sava Kadosh Baruch Hu liyas leidira b'tachtonim." If you want to know the whole purpose of creation, the whole purpose of creation is that God wanted a place, a dwelling place, b'tachtonim, in the lower worlds. Yeah, we'll have to behave. God wanted a dwelling place in tachtonim. Tachtonim means, when you say tachtonim means the lowest. Underwear, right? Tachtonim means, the expression and the interpretation is, she'ein tachtoin lamata himena. When you say tachtonim plural, means that there's nothing lower. We are looking for the lowest of the lowest, to be able to go into the lowest of the lowest. And that is ultimately transform the nations of the world and to make them into a vessel of godliness. Safa Achad, that says Mashiach comes, that God will turn all the world into Safa Achas. Everybody will talk one language, so to say, because we'll all serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The nations of the world also, not only Am Yisrael. So therefore, that's what that. So that makes sense. The Medrash explains, only on the bottom page 7, the Torah did not begin with the story of the creation. The Torah did begin with the story of creation. Why? Because the strength of his work of creation, he told to his people, to the Jews, to give them an inheritance of nations. The fact that the Torah starts with this shows us that getting the inheritance of nations is even greater than the revelation of Seviv through Eir HaChadosh Elohim. There must be. So the Medrash is saying that this concept, to transform the world, is even greater than Oid Ein Sof, the infinite light coming together with Oid HaMamal. It's even greater. Because the Torah starts with that. So the Torah starts that because the Torah says this is really the true essence. The true essence is transformation of the world. And why? Why would the Jews need to get involved in the world? And that's really true. The Meraglim didn't want to go to Eretz Yisrael because they didn't want to get involved with the world. They didn't want to do this Avodah. So they wanted to be in a godly state, and they'll connect to God, and they'll bring God to the world. And they did that. They lived in the desert, and they had a wonderful life. But they didn't want to go to Eretz Yisrael because they didn't want to do this Avodah. They didn't want to do this service. They didn't want to go even higher, to bring down, to change the world, to change Nachas Goyim, that to go conquer Eretz Yisrael. It's part of, right? It belongs to 7 nations, right? God could have really God could have kept that land, right, empty, right? That would have been a smart idea, right? If you would ask me,
they didn't want to work for
keep it empty. The Jews would come there, and they would come to an empty land. No, they had to come to a land that had 7 powerful nations. Achkitia, Meiria, Prisia, Ivusi, right? They had 7 guys, and actually there were 31 nations there, but there were 7 very powerful. They had to fight for the land. Why? Why couldn't he find a land that was empty? Felt that there's enough of a place around that area, I'm sure, that's still empty. No, the Eibishter wanted Lasa Nachlas Goyim. The Eibishter wanted, God wanted that the Jews would transform these 7 nations, which Chassidus says is the 7 midas, 7 emotions.
But
So
they fight with them.
They fight. Your emotions fight with you. Your emotions don't let you. What do you think? Your emotions want you to change. Your 7 emotions want you to become a better. No, the emotions want to stay where they are. And the avodah of it is to change these emotions, to change these 7 midas. And that's the obligation. Nobody wants to do it. Everybody wants to live a good life and leave me alone. And why do I need to work on myself? Right? Leave me alone. Leave me in my spiritual life, and I'll serve God, and I'll daven, I'll learn, and I'll learn Torah. I'll do everything right. But why do I need to change my 7 midas? Why do I need to change my 7 emotions? Why do I need to do that? And the answer is, the truth is a good question. And the Jews in the desert had a good question. And that's why God didn't answer them. God said, you'll die in the desert. Because it is a good question. Let me serve God and leave me alone. I want to serve God. I'm going to bring down Eira Seviv and Eira Mamala. I'm going to create Eiris in the world. Why do I need to work on myself? And the answer is, that's the greatness of Avodas HaBerurim. That's where Chassidus explains the Avodah of rectification. Yisr na'oy min ha'choshech. The greatness of light that comes from darkness. That there's a concept of the Avodah of choshech, which is the tachtonim, is the real tachton. So you can work in oiris, in lights, and you'll never ever change the tachton. You'll never ever change the choshech. That's the avodah of a beina. You learn Tanya. That's the avodah of a yid. Is a tzaddik doesn't per se have the avodah of biru tachtonim, of working with the choshech. A regular Jew, a beinani, or even lower than a beinani, has the avodah of changing the world. And that's a very important avodah. Why? Because in this transformation, you find the essence of God. Not only do you find the oiris of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the lights, the energy of God, and the light of God, you find the essence of God in the choshech, in the dark. It's 100% better. But it's 100% better. It's 100% better. The Alter Rebbe and Tanya said you should be happy. You should be a besimcha. You're not a tzaddik. You know why? If the Eibishter wanted to be a tzaddik, he'd make you a tzaddik. He wants you to be who you are. So the avodah of the choshech, it says, well, Makir Shabali Shuvda, in tzaddikim wouldn't understand. Where about Shuvah stands, even a great tzaddik doesn't stand. Why? Because a Baal Shuvah works with the choshech. That's it. And you need to work with the darkness. So the ultimate purpose of Torah mitzvah is to reveal a new revelation. We're not looking for oiros. See, the difference between oiros and etzem, this is the general concept of Chassidus. The difference between oiros and essence is oiros is part of the system already. Oiros, lights, the Oir Hashem was already part of the system. It's part of the system. It's already, like the expression, En chadash tachas hashemesh. There's nothing new under the shemesh. Why? Shemesh is symbolic of the oir. It's the mor, it's the luminary. Ein chadash tachas Hashem. There's no new lights. It's all in the system. There's no new concepts Right? We say the expression, they know, Kol masha talmud v'asel achadash, anything that any student would come up in interpretation of Torah today, hakol nitim Moshe Rabbeinu, everything already is given already. It might be hidden, it might be in a state of encrypted, so to say, but ultimately it's there. There's nothing new. There's nothing new. But when it says Mashiach come, it's going to be a revelation of a Torah Chadasha. A new concept. Torah Chadasha. Whatever that means. We'll wait for Mashiach to know what that means. A Torah Chadasha. A new concept. We're looking for something new. That's the truth is the Abish to put it in the DNA. That humans like new. Right? We don't like old stuff. We want new.
What about this Torah that we have?
No, but that's why it doesn't excite us. We like something new. It entices us something new. Even the Torah, we want a new thought. We want to hear a new interpretation. I have a Gemara, sit and learn. No, we're looking for something new.
We don't know all these.
I know, but always looking for new. It's the way that God made us. Always looking for new. And the Gemara says that's an interesting thing. That the Gemara says if a fisherman wants to fish, the Gemara gives you the best time for a fisherman to fish. So the Gemara says a fisherman, if he wants to fish, the best time to fish is after it rains. Why? Because all the fish are looking for fresh water. Right? The fish that live in water, but they want something new. Right? They want new water. They live in water. No, they want new water. Right? The Gemara, even the fish want something new. Right? They're living in water. No, they want the fresh water. A new water. Right? We're living in it. The Abish to put it into we want something new. We're looking for the new. We don't want old, which is not good. That's what the Torah says, that every day the Torah has to be like it's new. You have to be able to make it like it's new. Because if it's old, everybody gets stale. He did it yesterday. He did it 2 days ago. We did it 5 days ago. What is new? It's boring. What's new? What's new? We got something new. We need something new. And
we still don't know it. We don't know it.
Right? That's what I said whenever in the beginning, you see when the Torah talks about Avodah Zarah, it says, Alakim acherim asher lo yadatem. Why we look for other gods? Asher lo yadatem. You're looking for something new. Right? The Abish is old. He's before creation. He's been around. We're looking for something new. That's the new right. The new gadget. Right? Yeah. Who wants the old stuff? We're always that's right.
I'm ready for the galaxy.
It's 100%. That's what it is, right? It's 100%. We constantly looking for something new, and the truth is, that's what it should be. Why are we always looking for something new? Because our neshama is looking for something new. Oiros is part of the system. We're looking for a chadash. We're looking for a new light. You says that every Rosh Hashanah, the Alter Rebbe and the Chassidus and Kabbalah explains, every Rosh Hashanah comes down a chadash. A new light comes down to the world that never was here since creation. A new chadash. So we're looking for a new light. Every Rosh Hashanah comes down a chadash, new light that was never here before. A new energy that was never here before. And this Ur Chodesh is a new beginning. That's why the Rosh Hashanah is a new beginning. What? Everyone for the world. The question is if you want to connect it. So you can stick with the old. You can stick with the old. But a Yid has to find the new. He has to find that this year is not a continuation, it's a new beginning. It's something new.
How do you connect to it?
Chassidus.
If it comes for the whole world, then it's going to not celebrate Rosh Hashanah.
Right.
So therefore what?
And the truth is, a lot of Yidden don't celebrate either. They don't understand what Rosh Hashanah is either. We don't understand what you have to learn what Rosh Hashanah is. It's not the stam a New Year's, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's not a Happy New Year. It's Rosh Hashanah. It's the head of the year. That's why by us, by Torah, it's called the Days of Awe. It's Yomim Noirayim. It's Days of Awe. It's a very holy, spiritual days, godly days. It's moments, 48 hours of where a Jew can connect to something that he would never be able to connect to during the entire. Everybody in the world can connect to it, but self-understood, a Yid was given the tools to be able to connect to this that he would never be able to connect to the entire year. And he had the 48 hours. Yom Arichta, he had the 48 hours which he can do that. But the truth is, Meidalin of Hanecha, Melech chai v'kayim shechzar tebi neshmasi. We say it every morning, that we thank the Eibush, he gave us back on Hashem. It's like a new beginning. Every day is a new beginning. Mashahaya esma, mashahaya haya. What was. Yesterday is gone. Today is a new day. It's a new revelation. It's a new beginning. I tell you, that's why that's why I have to feel. Every person should feel that way. So that's the ultimate. The Torah in essence says, the concept of Bereshis is I'm not looking for only Oiris, which is part of the system. I'm looking for a new revelation. And this revelation will be revealed in the Tacht and in the Choshech. So it's Choshech. That's like in the concept you have inventions. Somebody invents something, right? It's nothing new. It was there someplace. He revealed a light that he revealed something that seemingly is new. So it was in the dark, and now somebody revealed that light. Revealed it. He took time. He took effort. If it was not for people that went out of the box and went out of their comfort and went out of their way of life, we would still be in the Stone Ages. Would still be living in caves. So Baruch Hashem, not only Jews but the world, people in the world, went out of their comfort zone. They revealed something new, and that's what we're looking for: a new Ur, and that is which is not revealed before the Simpsons. This is an Ur that's even higher than Ur Ein Sof. We're looking for Atzmus. We're looking for the essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This refers to the revelation of the essence of the Ur Ein Sof, which is higher than the revelation of Ur Ein Sof that filled the empty space before Tzim. We're looking for Atzmus and Musi HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ata, we're looking for you. Hareini na, which Moshe Rabbeinu said, Hareini na skveidecha. I want to see you. I want to see you. The Alter Rebbe, we always say before davening, I don't want you Gan Eden, I don't want you. I want you. I want you. Now, what's you? You. I can't explain what you is. You is God. And so David says you could do that. You can do that. You want a relationship with me? You can do that. You have the capability. And that is by not only by doing a mitzvah, but inviting yourself to work on yourself. When you're going to work on yourself and you're going to transform the chayshech, you'll touch me. When you're going to work on a lachlas goyim, you're going to take the 7 nations of the world. You're going to conquer Eretz Yisrael. You're going to inhabit the land. You're going to transform this land into a holy land. You're going to touch me. You're going to have you. That's the greatness of Eretz Yisrael. Eini Hashem Elokecha ba, mereish Shana ad Rach Shana. The Eibishter has a special relationship with Eretz Yisrael. It doesn't have in any other nation, any other part of the world.
It has to be in Israel, though.
Israel only, one place.
So why aren't we going there?
Let's go.
Because we need to do Aveda Savaruna. We need to do this Aveda. We didn't transform the world. We still have to transform the world. Hello, the Gemara says, Tzedakah Baruch Hu in Yisrael. The Eibush did with the destruction of the temple. The Eibush did a charity to the world and to the Jewish people. Shepizah ben umas, that he sent them between the nations of the world. Why? Because the coming of Mashiach is not only for the Jewish people; it's for the world. So the Jews need to be everywhere. We need to be everywhere. We need to transform the world. Jews need to be anywhere, everywhere, and anywhere. That's the Avodah of a Yid. He can't only stay in one place. We need to be in every part of the world. That's Avodah. And we are, Baruch Hashem. So, and now we have to come back. That's it. He says, now, if you transform the world, we'll bring you back. We'll come you back. Kibbutz Gali, it's going to bring you back. So that's Aveda. This is an important concept. The drawing down of the essence of Eid and Seif is only possible for Birurim, the refinement of the aspects of the limited creation which conceals godliness. That's Oidus doesn't conceal godliness. Oidus, mitzvahs, don't conceal godliness. The world conceals godliness. And that's the Aveda, to transform the world, to make this world a better world. Tachtonim, the lowest part of the world. This process of Berurim and the advantage over drawing down the revelation of Eid and Seif is represented by the strength of his works to give the people the inheritance of nations. That's the inheritance of nations. Lasna nachlas goyim. The Rebbe says, I gave the Eretz Yisrael to the nations. I gave it to them. And now it's time that the Yidden change it, take it, and transform it. As I claimed above, The phrase "V'achodesh hazeh lachem" represents the drawing down of Sof of Kol Almin, which begins with the drawing down of the revelation of Eid and Sof, which filled the empty space before creation. That's the concept of "V'achodesh hazeh lachem." However, the refinement of the limited creation, Berurim, reaches even higher than this and draws down the essence of Eid and Sof, and this refinement is represented by the Jew rights to Eretz Yisrael, by the Jews' rights to Eretz Yisrael, which they prove from the story of creation. So that's why the nations of the world don't want it. That's understand why. Until today, the nations of the world don't want it. It's not them, it's their angel Amayla. It's their Solomon Amayla. Cannot live that the Jewish people are going to have Eretz Yisrael. Because they don't want to have Eretz Yisrael. They want Chayshech. And if they want Chayshech, they're going to let the Yidden take over Eretz Yisrael. The Gemara says, if the nations of the world would realize what Yidden do for not only for them, for themselves, but do for the world, they would put centuries around the Beis Hamikdash. They would protect the Beis Hamikdash. No, but they don't realize that. Why? Because they want Chayshech. They want the Jew to do Averis Haberurim. They want the Jew to fight for it. They want the Jew to work for it. And the Jew wants it for free. We want everything for free. Right? If it's godly, it should be for free. Why should we have to work for it? Why should we have to pay for it? It should be for free. Everything should be for free.
You want to be a socialist.
And God says, no free lunch. You want a good lunch, you got to pay for it. If you don't pay for it, it's not worth anything. You need to work for it. That's Avodas HaBerurim. If it's free, it's na'am sufa. It's shameful bread. But that's human. We're humans like anybody else. We want things for free. And then that's also, this can be understood by explaining the deepest significance of inheritance of lands, nachlas goyim, the responsibility which Hashem gave the Jewish people to refine and therefore inherit the physical world. As an inheritance is the passing of ownership from one to another. That's inheritance. Inheritance is when a piece of property or whatever you might have is given over to somebody else, right? Your children. It's inheritance. I inherited my father. I took his property and it became my property. It happens, right? That's inheritance. That means there's a transformation from A to B. If you don't inherit, then if you got it yourself, then you didn't inherit it. Inheritance means that it belonged to A and now it belongs to B. Taking it out of the realm of the nation. So that's what as I said, if the Abish would give the Jewish people an empty land, it wouldn't have this concept. He would have given them a land that didn't belong to anybody. No, the Abish wanted the land should belong to somebody. It should belong to nations. And then it should be transformed. That's Avodas HaBerurim. Avodas HaBerurim is when I take a raw object and I transform it. I do a malacha. That's why in Shabbos is the opposite. You now do malacha. What's a malacha? Malacha does not per se mean work. Malacha means changing something. I can't change on Shabbos. I can schlep a table and I can work hard. Everybody that works with me, I work on Shabbos. But it's not a malacha because I don't change anything. The changing of something. Rabbis talk a lot. They don't do anything, but they just talk a lot. So we don't change anything. The transformation of something is a shaila, is a lot on Shabbos, right? Because you're taking it from one place, like even the concept of going from one rishus to another rishus, carrying from one domain to another domain, which is prohibited on Shabbos because you're changing its domain, you're changing its place. Truth is, that's the concept of soul. You change that soul, you're changing the land. You're taking it from the 7 nations. You're bringing it into taking the Jewish people are inheriting, the taking ownership of it, ownership of the land.
But
Sorry.
But inheritance, you don't have to work for get it.
No, but you need to take it. You need to inherit it. You don't have to inherit it. You can say, I don't want my inheritance. Right? You can say, I don't want it. Right? I don't want it. Let's say your parent left you a bunch of gatkas. So I don't want it. Right? I don't want if they left me land, I want it. So I have to take it. There has to be a transformation. There has to be a takeage of the land. There has to be an inheritance. It has to be taken. You're true. In a way, the person receives it automatically, but he still has to take it. He has to inherit it. He can say, I don't want this inheritance. I give it away. Which the Jewish people did. The Abish said, I want you to go and inherit the land. They said they wouldn't want it. We want to be in the desert. Leave us alone. Thank you, but no thank you. We're not interested in it. Right? Not giving it to somebody else, maybe give it to our children. But we're not interested. We're interested in staying in the desert.
You're giving me something that I have to fight for.
Right. So this is an inheritance you have to fight for. So you should realize imagine what's the problem of inheritance? That a person you inherit, the Gemara says you inherit your children's stuff and they abuse it. So here you give them, you worked your whole life for something. You give it to him, he cashes in, have a good day. Bingo. That's when a child sees the quality in his father's inheritance. He says, "Oh, I'm going to fight for it." That's unbelievable. I was inherited. It's a treasure, it's a treasure, right? But most of us, we were happy with inheritance, right? You got the inheritance, and we abuse it. Then we do everything nadish with it. We don't do the right things with it.
But the minute the Jews found out about the Gezerah, right away they changed their mind.
Oh yeah, it's always that way. It's always that way. Once you realize the alternative, it's not always positive. So you always, but we wake up too late for the alternative, right. And it's too late.
The point of the story of the inheritance is that when you receive something in inheritance, you've got to also make sure that the next generation receives it also.
Right.
You can't.
You have to prepare them. That's why we did. That's why we did.
It's a continual responsibility.
That's the whole obligation of a father to teach his son. That Torah tziva lanu mishmei rasha kilatai. What's your inheritance? What's your inheritance? Yeah. I agree. I agree.
God gives you a land here, but He gives you 7 nations in that you have to fight all of them so you could get.
Yeah.
It's not just a nation. I mean, it's the whole concept of Judaism. It's a whole concept.
But the truth is, you have to you give the Torah to your children. You have to tell them to fight for it.
Yes.
Right? You can't tell them, oh, this is easy. You know, this is garnished. This is easy. No. To be able to attain it, you have to fight for it. You have to work for it. It's not something that comes. That's going to be an easy thing to acquire and to hold on to. And you might have to. The nations of the world are going to. Your own midas are going to fight against. Your own nature is going to fight against this inheritance. Mm-hmm. That's what the Torah is also an inheritance. It's also a concept of an inheritance. It's given to us as an inheritance, but you can abuse that inheritance. I don't want that inheritance.
I had to relearn everything.
So taking it out of the realm of the nation, so that's all Veda on a deeper level. This is also connected to the Jew refinement of the spiritual source of the physical world. The physical world, which is perceived as separate and independent from Hashem, was created from the world of Torah. So Chassidus says, Kabbalah says that the world, Olam Hazeh, we look at Olam Hazeh as something that is wicked, but actually Olam Hazeh comes from a higher, the world, the physical world comes even from a higher place than the spiritual world. Because who can create the physical world? The physical world is created by the Eibishter himself. Everything else, Oidus, is a concept of Seder Shtalshlus. Oidus, lights and energy keep on coming low. Spirituality had something there, it came from something else. Yesh comes from an ayin. Yesh, physical. How can you create a physical thing? How does spirituality create a physical? The only way a spiritual thing can create a physical is God himself. So where is the essence of the Eibishter? Is in the Tachten, is in the Choshech, is in the world. So that's why the world can feel separate. Why does a person feel separate? My neshama never feels separate from God. My guf does. Why? Because in my guf is hidden something more, even greater than my neshama. And in my guf, there's an essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why it feels like an atzmi. It feels like a yesh, because it comes from a real yesh. Everything else, oidos, all come from a spirituality beforehand. But a yesh can only be connected by HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. And that's why the Baal Shem Tov, the Chassidus explains that the Eibishter needs to constantly say, Yehi Or, let there be light, let there be the land, let there be the words of the Eibishter in the Gashmi constantly. Because it needs to be there constantly. If not, it would disappear. The Gashmi would disappear. So that's why the Gashmi, the inheritance of the nations of the world, the transformation of the physical is where you're going to find the true essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's where you're going to, it comes from Olam HaToyu. It comes from the world which is higher than Tikkun. It comes from a world that is, so to say, dark, that is, so to say, unknown. Lights that are higher than vessels. Lights that cannot come into vessels. That's symbolic in Kabbalah of Olam HaToyu, the world of Tohu, of desolation. I don't want to use the word Tohu. Chaos. A spiritual which each one of the different revelations of God was so strong that it was unable to tolerate any type of revelation. It was such a revelation that it couldn't be revealed. You comprehend what that means? That's Atmos. Atmos is a revelation that cannot be revealed. And where is this revelation? In Dafkin, Gashmi, in the physical world. In Tachten, in the lowest Tachten. That's why the Avodah of Eden, when it comes to Avodah of Esav, the Avodah is Lishpetar Esav. The Avodah of Yaakov and Esav, which we're going to learn next week, the service of Yaakov and Esav is the service of a Jew to change the Esav. So Esav is the bad guy.
Is he really?
And he's Edom. And he's terrible. But what's the Avodah? Is to transform the Esav. That is the ultimate. Until we transform the Esav, we're going to be in Gullus.
And the source of Esav is very good.
Source of Esav is higher than Yaakov. So his source is in Elam HaTorah, and Yaakov's source is Elam HaTikkun.
That's why they buried his
So
head.
Esav
He
is
came to
part of the
Machpelah. They took
inheritance?
his head and left
So
the
Esav
Yeah.
is part of the inheritance.
Yeah,
Nachon.
it is the inheritance. All of them, it's team Lishbet to Sad Esav. All of them, team Lishbet. They either are going to voice Hashem Melucha. When will the Meluchas Hashem? When we will transform the Esav. Within the Torah, this represents the fact that Hashem first gave Eretz Yisrael, represented the physical world to the 7 kings of Edom, which is Esav, who represent the Svidus of the world of Tohu. Edom is Esav. So here the Eibishter said, I'm giving it to the nations of the world. I'm giving it to these 7 nations because I've hidden in them something unbelievable. This world shattered, and the sparks of the world of Torah, the God energy within Torah, fell, and their independence became expressed through the seemingly independent physical world. And that's again, you have these 70 nations, the 70 nations. Again, 70 nations, interesting, the 7 nations. And I'd say the 70 nations in the world in general. Because the 7 times 10 is 70. So you have all the middays, the 7 middays in the 7 middays, it's 70 nations. 10 really, because 10 middays. 10 with Chacham with Das is 70. So this is the meaning of the statement of the Medrash, that Hashem builds worlds and destroys them. He builds the world of Tohu and destroys it to create the physical world. So the Eibishter had to break the vessel, so to say. He had to be able to come down into the world. He had to do something that's above and beyond the normal realm of the way of creation. He had to break, that's Tzimtzum. He had to break the world. And he had to create a spark that would go into a physical entity of the world. So when a Jew uses the independent physical world, when a Jew doesn't only use spirituality, he goes to the independent, to the nations. He takes the nations, the Eretz Yisrael, which is independent. 7 nations. They're living there. It's theirs. And God gave it to them. And he says, now it's time to change. It's time to transform yourself. It's time to reveal your essence. For the service of Hashem, this enables a spark of Tohu to express its complete bittul. And that is the greatness of this aspect, bringing to its ultimate purpose within creation. The revelation of the essence of godliness is beyond the revelation of Avodim Seif. And that is what the Eibishter wanted from the Jews. That's why, in essence, it all begins with Bereshis, it ends with going into Eretz Yisrael, because that's the journey. The journey is the beginning of creation, which right away in the first pasuk, Rashi says that the Eibishter gave already in the first pasuk the purpose of the whole creation. And what is the purpose of creation? Eretz Yisrael. That the Jewish people are going to inherit this land. And they're going to transform this land. And they're going to make it into a holy land. It's not going to be easy. And the nations of the world are not going to be happy. As Rashi says, they're going to say, you're Ganovim, you're stealing it, you have no right to it, and blah, blah, blah. They've been saying it from then until today. And what's the answer? The answer is that that's the way the Eibishter created the world. The Eibishter created the world. He created it for a purpose. He created to give it to them. That was the purpose. The 7 nations. He had to create the 7 nations because this light needed to come down the lowest of lowest into the 7 nations. And then he wanted that a Jew would inherit the 7 nations and transform it into a holy place. And that's the answer that you have to give the nations of the world, Rashi says. No other answer is going to suffice them. No other answer is going to suffice them. You need to give them the emes. You need to teach the emes. You need to tell the choshech the emes. If you don't tell the choshech the truth, the choshech the darkness will continue to be dark. You need to tell the choshech, the darkness, the world, the emes. You need to be transformed. And a Jew, I am going to transform you. I'm going to elevate you. So I'm doing it for you. It's for you. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for you. I'm changing the world. And that's my Avodah. My Avodah is to transform the world, to make it holy. You need to let me. I'm not trying to destroy you. I'm trying to make you holy. I'm trying to reveal your essence. You have to let me reveal your essence. You have to stop fighting it. The truth is that Eretz Yisrael is every Jew. Every Jew is Eretz Yisrael. And we all have to transform our midas. And even though our midas say, leave us alone. Go serve God. Go serve God. I'm not bothering you. Don't bother me. Right? Go serve God. Go be holy. But when it comes to me, when it comes to my I want to stay who I am. And no. Because a Jew says to the midah, the Jew is supposed to say to his midas that without you, I can't reveal my true essence. I can't reveal God's essence. So I need to transform you. I need to work on you. I need to work on my character, these 7 midas, to make them holier. That's why the truth is, if you think about it, the Eibishter did that to a human being. The first 13 years of your life, you live your Yetzer Hara, right? What does the Yetzer Hara say? Then on 13, your Yetzer Tov comes in. What does the Yetzer Hara say? What are you doing here? You're a Ganav. This is my land. This is my property. You're coming in now. Who invited you? What kind of chutzpah? You're coming in, a new guy in the block, you're taking over. What kind of chutzpah is that? What kind of respect? Is that respect? You're coming to steal the body that belongs to me. It's been a part of my possession 13 years, and you're coming now, and right. So why wouldn't God put the Yetzer Tov first? No, because the Eibishter wants that the Yetzer Hara to be part of your existence for 13 years. And to inherit the land. Inherit the body. And now, conquer the land. It will be yours. It belongs to you. It belongs to you. Have midas rois. Be selfish. Be a good kid. But you're a selfish kid. It's all about you. And now I'm going to put the Yetzer Tov in. And I want now the Yetzer Tov to inherit the land. I want the Yetzer Tov to teach the Yetzer Hara that no, I'm not trying to destroy you. I'm trying to transform you. I'm trying to reveal you. I'm trying to make you better. And that by making you better, by transforming you, is going to bring me greatness, because I'm going to reveal godliness, and it's going to bring you greatness. But your Yetzer Hara says, no, thank you.
It's a constant fight, and it's a constant hatred towards us.
100%.
The killer